Hello, everybody. It's Sunday, and we're back. Oh, righty. Thank you for the hosts, people. We saw those in the chat there, and Scripsy for the resub. 8 months. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. I don't really have a whole lot to say tonight, guys. So we're gonna drop straight into it and turn it over to the storyteller and recap last session. I think if he's ready. Looks like he's reading intently.
I am.
Oh,
I'm good.
And Baz with a 29-month resub as well. Thank you very much. It's gone stupid quick. All right, we're going to turn over to our storyteller, and we'll get into the recap from last week, or not last week, the week before. A couple of week break, but we'll get into it.
Sweet. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, Kindred. Last time round, the coterie were continuing conversations at the Gangsters Paradise Speakeasy Bar. Pip tried to explain a vision that he had to Jax and to Zane, leaving some questions on where this vision could lead to or where this could be. Echo delivered a gift to Pip that she had commissioned, a treat for his small roaches, a house. As morning was approaching, all of our kindred and some of the guests at the speakeasy began to exit the building, some of them feeding before heading to their respective places of rests. A laundromat being one idea for a catering tool. As a last effort before sunup, Isaac performed a ritual with Prince Echo and her blood, giving him some insight on her unlife. The following evening, all the hounds rouse their blood, heal their injuries. Some of them heal their injuries and meet back at the bar to continue plans. Plans for attacking these ASIS hideaways. Aaron, well, I should say SI hideaways. Aaron also rejoins them here. He does seem to face a bit of heat from the group. Isaac arrives a little late as his feeding took a little longer than anticipated, and he enters the bar with an important phone call coming to its end as he spots a news bulletin about an attack at a laundromat, a breach of the masquerade. Aaron is sent taking Zane with him to get Nathan to find out about the scourge that everyone seems to think is part of this attack. And it is here we will continue Monday evening as the clouds have cleared. The night air is warm and it is oddly uncomfortable for a winter's evening. Nathan is brought into the room with Zane and Aaron in tow. And the last thing I believe he said was, "You wish to know about the scourge." And as this happens, you see Aaron sort of just poke back behind the door, taking his phone from his pocket. It's vibrating in his hand, and he sort of looks in the room, nods at you all, and closes the door as he's taking a call. Nathan looks to you all with his hands up and says, "So, what is it you'd like to know, my queen?" And he gives you a bow, my prince.
Thank you. We'd like to know more about the scourge. We'd like to organize a blood hunt.
Ah, barely into your early days as the prince and blood hunt on the handle already. I love it. Absolutely smashing. Alexander Pierce is his name. He's an Irishman by descent. Horrible beasts, those Irish. He was a prisoner originally. And I believe he was sent to Australia back in the 1819-ish area. According to documents, at least, he was imprisoned for stealing shoes. 6 pairs. They must have been wonderful shoes, I imagine.
That's right up your alley then, Nathan. Yeah.
Yes, I don't know if I would steal shoes so much as pay my way, but nonetheless, that's what he was in prison for back then. You know what it was like. They were sending people to our great country just for the sake of it. Nonetheless, he was, for these 6 pairs of shoes, he was meant to be in prison for 7 years. I guess punishments were fitting back then.
And Leslie made him the scourge for what reasons?
Oh, many, many years later, when Leslie, our dear departed prince, met him, uh, he was breaching the masquerade quite frequently. It was meant to be a takeout. Let's say a prince wanted to have this man killed. This beast. He was really no longer kindred nor human nor something in between. He had succumbed to the blood. But I believe our prince saw something in him. We had, and he sort of nods at, you have to forgive me, guys, I'm a little tired tonight. He nods towards you all and he says, some magics put on him. Something to contain him, control him, make him a little easier to be a pet, so to speak. Isaac, you would know about these sort of rituals.
Indeed, and do we know the particulars of this ritual? Is it bound? Can anyone recite this ritual, or is it only for certain people?
Oh, I do believe he was bound to our previous former prince, and whatever has bound him to the prince is now unbound from him, I guess, because there seems to be no control on this beast.
No, that's what I'm saying. If we know the ritual and what's involved, maybe that's a way to bring him back under control.
Ah, yes. We could, as before, maybe capture him again and put him through the same ritual. We would definitely need to be on our feet, so to speak. He's quite a wiry one.
Maybe if we offer him 7 pairs of shoes, he'll stop eating so messy. Or maybe 8. Like we could gather a collection.
I mean, that is an option, my prince. Maybe we do look at getting him some fancy shoes.
How many did it take to capture him last time? Just out of curiosity.
I do believe we had a fair amount of our kind on him. I wasn't around at the exact time he was caught, but I do remember something along the lines of 15 of our best and strongest. We were chained and held him, from what I recall, and then after that, the ritual was done through the likes of, well, more of our own. My prince.
How many survived?
Once again, I wasn't there for this, but I believe there was at least half of them diablerized to some point of another.
Can we just kill it? I think we kill it.
You're volunteering, Zane.
Me? Never.
A blood hunt would declare open season on it, which is probably the easiest way.
Yes, probably less messy to do it that way than bring it into our sacred havens.
Do you think you as Herald can go to the Anarchs, the Sabbat, and let them know that there is a blood hunt? Because he's no doubt not caring which territories he goes into.
I can indeed get the message out, my prince, as you wish.
Thank you.
You wish me to do this now?
Well, I mean, after you're done doing what you need to do, Nathan.
No problem. I will get right onto it, my prince. If there's anything else?
I can't remember. Do we have anything else we needed to do?
What would his particular weakness be?
That's a very good question, Isaac. I will say the man before the beast, he was already a monster. He was only jailed for the shoes, yes, but when he did escape prison, and he did it multiple times, he escaped with other convicts and he ate them. I believe he confessed to a priest. Actually, he confessed to many prison guard after being captured, and they didn't believe him originally. But I believe right before his deathly demise, before his embrace, he confessed to a priest that all the deaths that were supposedly shared out between him and his fellow escapees, it was told that they all cannibalized each other. It turns out in his final confession, it was him who cannibalized the lot. I believe it was something like 13 that he cannibalized before he was embraced. I think if there is a weakness, it is that he is completely mad. Whether that gives you any insight on the man or the beast, I do not know.
Being a psychopath is really a weakness. Safe to say the SI is probably hunting him as well. So that'll be something. Not exactly making himself subtle.
That is true. They will be definitely. I mean, he is on everyone's radar, I imagine, at this point in time.
Nathan,
Right.
go ahead, Nathan.
No. After you, my prince.
I'll need to talk to you about securing my house, getting it all in order. I'm sure these guys have to go and discuss taking on Mary Wade and Scourge.
Very well, my prince. We shall secure whichever you like. Would you like me to get a hold of Sam and we'll work together?
That would be good. And Echo will probably just want to go into, I'm sure I have an office now. I think we said that last week. So
Yes.
I will go into my office.
All right. Well, what was once Leslie Taylor's office has now been refurbished for yourself, and it's still things to do for you in there to make it more home or more your office. But yes, you have a place to go. So if that is where you wish to head, no problem. That leaves the rest of you as she's heading out of the room to do, say, or go wherever you like.
What time is it? This is a new night, isn't it?
So no, this was continuous from last game. So it's the Monday night.
Monday night,
You
okay.
guys were in here for a couple of hours, so you're probably looking about 9-10 o'clock at night. It's only
That's it,
early in
early.
the evening.
I didn't want to say why Nathan's here, but say Tim is consuming the old prince, would he have control over the scourge? Maybe.
He would have to know the ritual to be able to do so. And if Nathan is suggesting the bond is broken and the ritual have to be reperformed, I would say the chances are very unlikely.
Yeah, Isaac, you know for a fact that's exactly how it would go down. If the bond is broken, the ritual would have to be reperformed, and you know a ritual of that weight would take quite some time and a bit of blood, a lot of blood.
It just seemed weird that he was where I was, but I suppose like relatively it's a small city and coincidences happen, I suppose.
It concerns me too, Pip. I mean, within 60 seconds of us being there, he was there, ripping someone apart on camera.
Could he be following us?
Potentially, he did see Aaron and I. We came face to face with him in Elysium, night of the SI attack.
We could set up a trap.
So I don't know, it's potential. It's possible that he's following
Someone.
me, perhaps Aaron,
Or Pip.
or I mean, who knows? Could be many reasons.
I guess the question is, my friends, do we pursue the matter?
Well, Prince has ordered the blood hunt. Nathan will spread the word. So I guess, in line with your question, is do we join the blood hunt in the interim before we pursue the Mary Wade thing, which I believe is either tomorrow night or Wednesday night, perhaps. We did set a date for that, didn't we? Was it Wednesday we set for that? Storyteller? I forget.
I believe so, yes. So you guys have got like
we
a night of
got a
prep
couple, at
and-
least a night. A night and a bit.
And I make the assumption that Isaac got a hold of Sarah and let her know that it's all going on. Yep, sweet.
That was the phone call. He was making it.
Yep. I enjoy a good hunt. Everyone who knows me knows that. I don't know whether the rest of you have. I mean, I know Pip has definitely not been involved in a blood hunt before. Assuming Isaac, you may have either be indirectly or directly involved at some point in your time, or at least have seen or heard of one. What about you, Zane? I mean,
I have a computer.
You're not really a hunter. You're more of a finder, aren't you? I don't know that the computer. Well, he's being visible. Actually, do you want to? Got an idea. He was caught on camera. It's been on the news. Do you want to just go back over the internet? Let's see what's come up on social media. Let's see what's on the news websites, if there's any more sightings, and
weird and unusual things. Awesome, I'm on it.
Yeah. See if we can find out if there's a pattern at least. Maybe he may be sticking to one particular area. And Isaac, your particular skill set, would there be anything that you could potentially do to maybe track this individual? I'm assuming you would need his vitae for that, but is there anything else potentially?
I mean, you know what I was able to do with the ashes.
Indeed.
I can do exactly the same thing.
I'm wondering if maybe we pay a visit to the laundromat. Maybe evidence there still that we could potentially use that the humans haven't been able to see. Feel up for a road trip?
I mean, we probably should deal with it because he's probably making it harder for us, and I wouldn't like him to come upon us when we're trying to rescue Mary. I don't know how much help I'll be, but we should try.
I think your skills, Pip, are growing, and I think you're going to be more help than you even think.
I can collect some shoes, maybe.
I don't think we'll need the shoes right this moment.
Do you think they still had the feet in them?
Anything's possible, Pip. Anything's possible. I dare say, Zane, you'd prefer to stay here than to come with us? Or you've got a laptop, haven't you?
Do I have to come? I don't want to go.
You don't have
really. Cool, I get to stay. Yay!
I wouldn't...
don't want to go.
I wouldn't annoy the prince, however, too much.
But, okay.
And I wouldn't go near the main bar, Zane. Stay back here in these back rooms, yeah?
What's wrong with the bar?
How hungry are you, Zane?
Hungry?
Exactly.
Aw, you're no fun.
Go see if you can find something to eat. Seriously, you need to eat something.
Okay.
But stay away from the bar, please.
I'll try.
All right. And I'll get up to leave, and I'll wait for Pip and Isaac. But I will catch up with Nathan and just inform Nathan to keep an eye on Zane, that he is still hungry, he needs to be fed, and to keep him away from the main bar.
Yeah, Nathan, as you give him the information, you can see he's been on the phone as you approach him. He's been calling through and talking to sort of other people, and as you approach, you hear the tail end of a message he's telling one of the other kindred nearby about basically delivering messages of a blood hunt to the Anarch, to the Sabat, even to the Thin Bloods at this point, because of the danger of priority, I guess, of this. Echo said to everyone who needs to know. And he's humming and hawing over it, but he nods to you and he says, "Yeah, I will get some disgusting blood bags up to him and he'll be okay."
Just keep an eye on him.
Shall I let the prince know he's staying back?
Good idea. And not head out.
Cool. So that's Jackson, Isaac, and Pip all heading out. Okay, come on. You guys are going to the laundromat.
Yep. We'll take
Right.
Jax's car.
Sweet. So, Zane, just staying with you momentarily. So what is your plans while you're here? Firstly, 2 blood bags are given to you. You'll be able to remove 2 hunger throughout the night at this point.
Awesome.
It obviously won't be all in one quick succession. You'll be able to have 1 now and give or take half an hour off another. It wouldn't give you any more to sustain or to take any hunger away in the point of, what are you at?
Yep.
You're at 4. You need at least 2 over the night anyway.
Yeah.
But yes, you get delivered these blood bags as you work. So what? And you are looking up anything in particular?
Yeah. I dare say the internet will be abuzz with mystery sightings and all that. So I will be hunting down those and correlating where it was seen, when it was seen, and stuff like that.
Sweet. So I can give you a bit straight away, because obviously with your skills, it's not going to take too long to find a trail that someone who's not trying to hide is leaving. And you see that it's erratic. You get camera footage of him at this laundromat, was where you sort of start around that space. You get camera footage, and it was, I believe, Jackson had taken Pip to sort of just out of central and Northcott at that stage, and it's sort of north of central Melbourne is where it starts, and then he goes from the laundromat, and then after Pip and Jackson leave the area, he does tail the vehicle for a short amount of time, moving very fast in whatever camera footage you can find, but he does lose them and is unable to tail them any longer. And once he does, he turns back, goes south again, heads probably for a good half an hour to sort of south central Melbourne, close to South Bank, in South Bank, and he attacks someone on a park bench there. And then you move along to some more cameras following him as he's sort of not even moving in shadows. He's just rocking through any late night people of the previous night. And he takes out 2 or 3 people in a hit. Most anyone who sees him runs. They take one look at this creature, because he doesn't run like a man. He's half hunched, and he's only like 5'3" anyway. So he's very small, and with his half hunch, he's very almost Gollum-esque in the way he moves. That Gollum from Lord of the Rings, but he's just moving quickly, very very quickly. And every time he jumps someone, he doesn't quite kill them all. The laundromat was the worst. Most of them he's grabbing, taking a chunk out of, and then they're kicking off and getting away. But he seems to be not worried about them escaping. And you follow him through South Bank, and he heads over towards South Yarra, and then he goes north again towards East Melbourne, and then up into Carlton as the night progresses. And then just before the sun comes up, he disappears in the Carlton district. You can't find any more on him.
I'll send a text. Last sighting that I got was Carlton area.
And you You bomb text that to everyone?
Yeah.
Okay. Echo. Nathan knocks on your door, enters your office and says, "My prince,
Nathan.
the message has been sent out to all of those who count and to some who don't, and I'm talking to the Thin Bloods. I figure the more eyes on, the better we are.
Hmm.
So the blood hunt has been announced. I assume once he is captured, killed, whatever they do with him, you want the remains brought to you."
Yes.
Very good.
I'd also like Sheriff Marco's files because he had Jeremy in custody, and Jeremy's starting to be a bit of a nuisance. And
Sheriff Marco's files. I can do that.
yeah, I think we could find some more clues maybe as to what his motives are, where he's at.
Very well. I'll get onto that. Oh, and also, your hungry friend, Zane, the computer guy, he's in one of the back offices. I've given him a couple of blood bags. He's doing some research.
You know what? Move his shit in here with me. Keep an eye on him.
As you wish, my prince. I shall
Thank
see
you.
to that now. And he sort of, as he walks out the door, as he's sort of pulling the door closed, you hear him sort of give a little whistle to a couple of his guys. He snaps his fingers and they'll come up to him and he closes the door. And he says to them as he's walking away, Zane, you'll hear him coming down the corridor. He's like, "All his things into her office. There's a desk towards the back end. Grab a seat. Maybe take some earplugs for her. She will probably need them. Give her the option. I mean,
Are you saying I'm bad? Hang on, maybe. Yeah, possibly.
yes,
Okay.
Zane.
What?
You do chat a lot. Anyway, it is the prince's wish that you work out of her office. We're gonna set you up in there. You're going to work with her, behind her, beside her,
But
or whatever.
not beside her. She kills my stuff.
Ah, yes. Okay, we will get you set up in there anyway. I assume you're going to do what she says because I wouldn't want to anger the prince on one of her. I mean, she's in the teething stage. This is where they show their power, and she seems to have a lot of it.
I'm going now.
Excellent. Davros, move his gear, and one of the other kindred that's near him in a nice. It's almost a black suit. As it gets closer, it sort of shimmers green, and he picks up your table and laptop and everything, and just walks out the door like it's nothing, heading it through to Echo's office. And we will move to Jax, Pip, and Isaac in Jax's vehicle. We're not going to run the trip unless you guys want to. We'll have you pulling up at the laundromat.
Yeah, the only thing I'd do along the way, I'd send a text to Francis asking him to meet us there as soon as he can, and give him the address.
Sweet as. And you will also receive a text from, or a message at least, from Zane with the information about the movements of the scourge.
Cool, and I'll relay that information. They'd have phones. If they didn't have phones, I'd relay the information anyway.
I believe, I don't know if Isaac, do you carry a phone that is group text for the slot, or are you just taking what information Jax gives you?
Actually, Isaac's only got his old Nokia phone, which no one
No, I don't think we have that number.
has the number other than a select few.
I'd relay the information either way.
So as you pull up in your vehicle, relaying this information, it's evening. Moving on to sort of that 11 o'clockish at night. It's warm. Clouds have disappeared. The moon shines through. You've got a lot of street lamps. This laundromat area you'd taken was out of the way of the main central. It was sort of north of central Northcote there, and there's a few people around. It's limited, but you've got the odd people in the street. It's quiet as the laundromat's off to the side of the street. It's not on a
So is it still under operation, or is it being cordoned off? Like, is there, like, it's because it was obviously a crime scene?
Yeah, 100%. It is not under operation. The lights are on. There is police tape over the footpath along down the road, and then it sort of cuts in, and they've got the barricades and barriers either side of it. There's no like flashy lights or anything.
Okay.
It's obviously they would have investigated it the previous evening.
Is there any
overnight
police
into the
officers
day.
still present?
Yes, there is. There are 2 officers at the barricade at the doorway, and you can see the yellow markers, the tracing of body on the floor, the yellow markers that they use for evidence in that within the room. You know, with numbers 1, and there's a little red tab on the edge of 1. There's a number 2, and so forth and so on. And there were 2 officers at the door. Give me now, probably the 3 of you. Are you in the vehicle still?
Yeah, I'd probably drive past and park just down the street. But obviously, get a quick look at what's there.
So those of you taking this in, give me a resolve awareness, please. Just as you're taking in these officers and this, this barricading.
2 successes.
2 successes.
5.
5 from Pip. And how about you, Isaac? 2. Sweet. So the 2 successes, Jax, Isaac, whether you're preoccupied with something else or not, you notice all the barricades, you notice the officers, you don't pick up anything too major. Pip, maybe it's all the reading of crime books, things like that. You notice that these officers don't seem too interested. They're probably not the ones who did the investigation. They're just regular police officers. They're on guard. They're standing there, hands in front of them crossed over, and any public who get nearby, they're just sort of shooing away like, sorry, this is a crime scene. You can't enter here. But other than that, you would know, Pip, that they probably have no real idea about what happened here. They wouldn't have been the investigating officers. They are just standing guard. They are no one important. Possibly they might not even be very long into their careers because they don't give the best cops guard duty.
Those officers are very disinterested in what they're doing. Probably shouldn't give us too much trouble if we can avoid making them angry.
I got an idea. I do know a police officer of some rank. You can hide yourself from them, can't you, Pip?
And Pip sort of just nods, and then he sort of just wanders off. And as soon as nobody can see him, he's just going to do unseen passage.
Yep.
As he's wandering off, we need some blood from inside. Maybe.
Pip doesn't respond?
Nope.
Good. Okay. So unseen passage, you're going to have to give me a rouse check, Pip, as you rouse the blood and force yourself to be unseen. Using
Fail.
Obfuscation. So you grow just that ever so slightly hungrier. You rouse your blood. You will upon yourself not to be seen by those around you. You use the shadows as your friends. You stay hidden. You stay to the walls. You're getting used to this now, but that lifts your hunger just enough. Your blood, almost, you can smell the 2 officers that are standing there, the ones that are disinterested. Your hunger moves up to 3, I believe.
Yes.
Sweet. You're starting to feel like you could go a bite to eat, but for this point in time, you're in control at 3 hunger. You are now, as long as you're not doing anything crazy, noisy, not too loud, I guess. You're not touching too many things. You'll be able to move around reasonably unseen as they haven't noticed a thing.
So I'll try and get in past them. I'm guessing the police tape's probably making it difficult to get through the door, though.
So the police tape is around in sort of like a half circle type shape, not perfectly. It's obviously angled with it sort of there's like attachments to cones, to orange cones with reflectors on them, and so it's sort of out around the opening of the door, and they're standing either side of this doorway. So there's no tape across the door itself at this point. You would have to either step over or go under the police tape, which is easy enough to do. Um, though you are, how would you rate Pip as far as how dexterous or how good with his movement is he? I mean, he's got to step over under tape without disturbing it too much. It's not going to be too hard, but I would, I won't even ask you how much. Let's say, just give me you just need one success. Just give me dexterity athletics, just to get comfortably over this tape without disturbing it.
Dexterity. Oh god.
That's what I thought.
I will be running distraction here, just for context.
We'll see how it goes, and you can.
Yeah.
One success, luckily.
One success is all we need. It's not difficult to maneuver some tape. I'm doing my D&D, making you roll for the sake of rolling. And how do you move across the tape? You go under or over?
I'd be an under guy.
Be an under guy. Yeah, glancing at the tape, realizing that going over it could cause you trip. You just go under it, sashay between the guards, no hassle, and get into the laundromat. What you see in here, much the same as what you saw the previous night, sans the person. All the machines, no machines are going this night. You've got the camera still up in the back corner. Doesn't seem to be running at this point in time. The illumination, the little red LED on it that was running the previous night, is not on this night. You can take that as you wish, whether you feel it's off or it's broken. I don't know. At this point, none of the machines are running, and you can see on the ground where the police have, or the investigators have, marked out the rough area where the body was lying. Now, normally in your books that you read or on movies you've seen or TV shows, there's like an arm and a head and an arm and a couple of legs all sort of making the body shape of a person. But this is not that at all. The chalk marking or tape marking they've used in this position, it's almost like a bean shape, like someone was cowering in the fetal position. There's no real person shape to it at all. And then there's also another bit of tape or chalk slightly further away, which is sort of just a rectangular shape. Maybe a limb was taken off here, but it does not look like a person shape at all. There is the number 1 on a yellow tag, little triangular shaped tag, and near that is sort of a pooling of blood. There is flecks of something in the blood, skin, maybe bone, hard to say at just first glance. And then at the number 2 it's where the piece of the appendage of someone's body's been taken off, the smaller marking in chalk. And then the number 3 is the main body. And then the washing machine or dryer that was close to the person, the woman, is open, and there's another yellow tag just sitting in that machine. And that's what you can see as you step through the doorway.
Okay, so after I've had a look around, I will use Sense the Unseen just in case I can see anything else.
All right, so
Which
sense
is
the
free.
It's free. That's good for you. Give me. No, I'm going to say there's activating sense the unseen. I'm not going to make you roll anything here because there's nothing to see. Everything
that's what I was
that
thinking.
could have been here is gone. Everything seems to be normal human machinery. The police have left their marks. There's no hidden creatures or other things here. That at this point, it is just a normal crime scene. Normal for you, which is not normal at all.
Is the book I left still on the table?
The book you left is still on the table.
Alright. I'll consider it, picking it up, and then think better of it. And then I'll go into my bag, and I'll have like a whole pile of bookmarks, and I'll pick my least favorite and sort of like scoop up some of the blood on the end of the bookmark and go, I look really proud of myself if you could see me, like, because I think like maybe some of this is his blood, even though realistically it's probably not his. And I'll sort of like, try and find somewhere to put it where the blood won't go everywhere. And then I'll, sort of tug on my vest a bit and walk out.
Right, just as you're doing things, I'm going to make a roll. Okay, you do all that and you head towards the door. While this is going on, Isaac and Jackson outside, you see nothing at all, really. You watched as Pip walked away, sort of obscured himself, and then, as far as you're aware, you're just waiting. Anything you're doing in the interim, Isaac?
Isaac will be activating heightened senses, enhancing his hearing, particularly aiming towards the two police officers, just to basically gauge their conversation and maybe, if anything, could potentially tip off Pip.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, two boring officers outside the door, definitely having conversation. One on now and then, as you're waiting, will grab out his phone and he sort of clicks away on the buttons and pops it back in his pocket. And like they say, the buttons, it's a touch screen, so he's just tapping the screen. The other officer says to him, "Oh man, it's kind of brutal, isn't it? Wouldn't expect it's just one of these out of the way laundromats to have an attack like that." And the officer that's tapping on his phone sort of says, "Yeah, it's pretty gross, man. I don't know. All I've done the last few weeks is guard crime scenes. I haven't really got to see much. But did you see in the blood in there? There was like before they took it away, there was that arm and it was like severed, man. It's just ripped right off. They reckon that no tool was used to cut it." And the first officer was like, "Holy shit, dude! You think it was those fucking drug enhanced dudes again?" And the other officers back and forth, just talking about local druggies and things like that, taking pee and how strong they are, and they sort of that's where the conversation rolls. Otherwise, they don't seem to notice Pip. They don't seem to hear anything. Their attention isn't turned.
So while that's going, I will also activate Sense the Unseen, so I can keep an eye on Pip.
So you'll be able to see him with that up, I assume. So you'll need to roll, I guess.
It'll be whatever his skill is at with his obfuscate versus whatever I need to. I think it's the
So you'll be rolling
resolve
all
specs.
Yeah, and he'll be rolling. I'll jump back to him. Pip, you just need to give me. Fuck, once I find your name. Unseen passage. So Pip, you'll be giving me a. Can't even find it because I'm hopeless at reading these things at the distance. Your obfuscate and your stealth, please.
Five successes.
5 successes. And what did you get, Isaac?
Not enough.
Not enough. So you activate your superhuman-like power to sense the unseen, and you know it's working. You're completely aware of anything else that may have entered the area, which nothing does. But for the life of you, you can't detect Pip. Whatever Pip's got going on, he's got it going on good. I would say you get that just from reading it here. You get the feeling, you can tell he's there, but you just can't pick where he is. He's activated. The rousing of his blood is just that much more powerful at this point in time.
Sort of quietly say to Jackson, "Well, This is the one time we're relying on a Malky.
Jack's sort of at that sort of probably visibly, his shoulders probably drop a little bit, and realizing that exactly what they're doing, but at the same time, he sort of turns and says, "They do have their uses, don't they?" But yeah, I got a plan in case it goes sideways.
Can I be outside and hear this?
So I would say in general, Pip, this conversation was going on while you were in
Damn.
doing your thing.
That would have been
Hold
funny
on.
though.
It would take you a few moments to get under the tape and sort of do what you did inside and come back out. So, and during that time, Jax, were you doing anything as well?
Keeping an eye out for Francis or any sign of Francis. The fact I've asked him to meet me there.
Yes, so
Firstly.
you do spot Francis. He's just down the sort of down the roadway a little bit amongst the shadows. He's watching you. When you spot him, he just sort of gives you the old
Yeah.
tip, and he's under a sort of the back end of a lamp post, so he's in the shadow, but not directly in the dark.
Unless the officers show any sign of noticing Pip, I won't approach them. But yeah, if they are tipped off to possibly a presence there and they go to move into the building or anything like that, I will walk up and approach them.
Sweet. So as you're waiting and Pip's doing his thing and Isaac's sort of activating his abilities and looking around, Francis does move up sort of on the opposite side of the car to you and just leans to the back of the car nonchalantly. You guys are a little bit down the way as well. So, just you're not parked right outside the shop and that obviously.
Would I hear this vehicle approaching?
He is walking, so you would hear him approaching.
Yeah, he's not hiding himself.
No, but I mean, I've got my heightened senses with the sound activated, so I'm just wondering whether I picked that up even before Jackson would.
Yep. Jackson would have seen his man before he moved on, and then once you activated your senses, as he's walking towards the car, you see him. He leans against the car and he motions to Jackson. You would definitely hear him approaching.
All right, so I'll keep my focus will be on the two officers just to see if anything is potentially tipped off Pip.
Sweet. With Francis being close enough to talk to now, I would say to him, "You've heard about the scourge."
Yes.
Blood hunt has been ordered.
Also got that message.
We need a way of tracking him. Pip is in there gathering blood, but I'm almost certain all the blood in there is probably human. Isaac, do you need anything particular from the scourge to track it? Like, is there anything that you can use, or is it blood specifically, or just something of his?
Storyteller, that is a good question. Would I, with the footage that we have seen on the television, would that allow me enough to use the ritual to track?
Ooh, okay. I would probably have to read through that ritual one more time just to be sure. At this point, I would say it'd be a bit tricky just off the footage. Disciplines, rituals.
Either way, at this point, I would ask Francis to also enter the building, knowing he can get in there without being seen as well.
Okay.
And just find something that's of scourge, something that's not human, if he can find anything.
All right. So Francis activates much of a similar ability to Pip's. He moves away from you all, sort of almost into an alley. He will make his check.
I would have made not a formal introduction. I would have just said to Isaac, "This is someone I trust implicably. If he can get any other information on top of what Pip might be able to gather, anything to help find this guy."
So I've rolled a couple of things here. Now, Isaac, you would see after Francis moves away, does his thing, he moves back in front, and you see him in his stealth state. I would say almost like the Predator movie. You can see his outline, the shape of him. You still haven't spotted much in the way of Pip, but Pip, um, you would have to roll for me the same thing just to make sure you could see him. I would assume you will because you are high on this.
So what was that roll again?
I'm just quickly looking it up because I forget. Oh, my memory is terrible.
Auspex.
Yeah, so resolve and Auspex, please.
Yeah.
You'll need just the 3.
I only got 1.
And you got 1. Okay, so even though you're hiding really well, Isaac, you see him, like I say, you can see his shimmering image, but Pip, you're actually on your way out the door as this other entity comes past you, and you do have sense the unseen up, so you get that feeling that someone's near you, but you just don't spot his visual, and you get that feeling someone's just moved past you as you've come out the door, and he's gone, and we'll leave it there as Pip, you're moving out, so we can get you 3 back together now as Frank does his work.
I sort of like go right up next to them. I'm like, I only got this.
Fuck! Don't do that, Pip.
But you asked me to get some blood.
Yeah. Yeah, the invisible thing, it's kind of freaky when you just talk out of the thin air. Oh. I mean, lucky.
There was something weird when in the building. I couldn't see it, but it felt weird.
That might be Frank. He's one of mine. Don't panic.
Mr. Isaac, you can keep this bookmark. It might be good once you've cleaned it up a bit. It's good for keeping your page. It's got some chunky bits on it, probably human chunky bits. It's probably still good though.
So this is the bookmark with the blood on it?
Yeah.
All right. Based on that, roughly how old would that blood be on that bookmark, storyteller?
So the incident happened the night before, and that, from what you're seeing, and you sort of take the sniff of it and have a check, it's generally that time base, within the 24 hours. It's fresh victim blood.
All right, so with that, you kind of see Isaac get his pinky finger and kind of, dab it,
Testing the drugs,
and then
man.
put his finger onto the blood, just to get a little bit of a sample, and then kind of, lick it off, and he'll activate taste of blood.
All right.
It's a free cost, resolve blood sorcery.
Sweet. So roll. Oh, yep. Resolve blood sorcery. Roll that for us.
Okay. So resolve is 2. The blood sorcery 3. I'm actually going to rouse the blood as well.
Yep. Sweet.
Which is a pass, and that'll give me 1 extra die pool to resolve.
Rousing your blood to get it up there, that's good.
And that is 4.
4. All right. And so you taste the blood. You get the immediate sense that this is just one creature's blood, and it is 100% human. There is no, it's neither ghoul nor kindred. It is all human female blood. No doubt in your mind. Anything else in particular you were looking for?
No. If it's only human, then Isaac will just relay. Unfortunately, this is only, and he kind of lowers the voice a little bit, human. And at this point, he will deactivate heightened senses as
Sweet.
well. So yeah, with that, he's kind of going to go. Doesn't really give us much to go on, gentlemen.
See what Frank can dig up, and then we'll head in the direction that the scourge was last seen, I guess. If we can, he's going to be at least another half dozen areas where he was seen killing someone.
I will say during this back and forth as Pips come out, you guys are talking, tasting the blood. Before you deactivate heightened senses, Isaac, you do hear a door open and close within the building, but it's quietly. Someone's trying to do it extremely quietly. And you hear the footsteps move away, similar to the footsteps that approach the vehicle. And after a few moments, you hear the quiet hush of footsteps again. And once again, it's only because your senses were heightened. And then as he moves out towards you, you've released them. Frank, not like Pip, doesn't just reappear in front of you. He moves down the street away to a shadow and sort of, it's almost like you guys, and like I say, Isaac would know. He heard the footsteps sort of move away, and then it's almost like someone's just walking up the street towards you again, as if nothing happened. And Frank comes towards you, and he reaches his hand forth like a handshake to you, Jackson. He goes, "Oh, g'day." Puts his hand out, and he palms you a flash drive, a USB drive. He leans forward and says, "Find nothing in the blood." There was blood inside one of the washers. That was disturbing. But I took a copy of what was on the cameras. They turned them off, but I was able to take that for you.
Thank you, Frank. Probably won't need you again tonight, but stay close to Elysium with the others.
Will do. Are you headed back there?
Eventually, we're going to be tracking the Scourge's trail for a little bit first.
No problem. And with that, we'll take a 5-minute break. And after the break, we'll come back with Echo and Zane for a bit.
No problem. Welcome, Raiders. Good time to take a break. Coda the Gamer coming in with a massive raid there. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate it very, very much. We are just about to take a short break, but we will be back in a few minutes to carry on with our vampire story. So don't go anywhere, everybody. Welcome in, Raiders. I'll be back in a couple minutes to have a chat before we get back into the next half of the show. BRB.
Sweet.
What's up, Trey? Appreciate that, dude. I appreciate the raid code of the gamer. I think he just took off because it's probably really early in the morning, heading to bed. But thank you, Raiders, for popping in and hanging out with us tonight. Good to see you, Trey. Appreciate the suggestion for the raid. For those new into the chat, my name's Evldoa and I'm from New Zealand, and we are currently running a Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition story. This is season 3, so this is the end of our story. We're episode 3 in. We've probably got maybe half dozen, 7 or 8 episodes left to go for this season, but it has been a lot of fun thus far. I normally run a lot of D&D. We are currently doing a mini adventure on a Wednesday, and when the vampire's finished, we'll be getting back into my homebrew campaign, which will be coming up. Will be on Sundays as well. So hope you guys sit back and enjoy. Welcome back. But yeah, so chat. Hope you're enjoying yourself tonight. As I said, we've got a whole bunch of peoples in here that experienced and not experienced at Vampire. I'm one of the not experienced ones. Mr. Magic over there in the far corner is experienced more with 20th the anniversary one, more than 5th, isn't it, Magic? So yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
But way more experienced than the rest of us either way. Because we're all newbies and D&D players. Moody, what's up? Trey, Bloody, and Moody dropping the gold into the fork knife challenge. Force Evil to play Fortnite on stream. That's the challenge. Everyone knows. I always said I never would stream it, and now I'm going to make you guys force me to do it. It'll be 0 build though, so that's not so bad. I'm almost 50% there already. Holy shit. Did not expect that. Alright, chat. I believe everybody is back. Don't think you did, Nutty. I think you're good. And we'll turn back over to the storyteller, and we'll get back into the second half of tonight's session.
Sweet. So, right, we're going to move back over to Echo and Zane. Echo, after about half an hour or so, one of Nathan's men actually come in, not Nathan himself. They knock on the door. They're very reverent. They bow. They bring you a small stack of paperwork that has been taken from Marco's drawers, and the young kindred. When I say young, he's probably early 20s is his look. He doesn't seem to look nor smell of someone who's been in the game very long, and the way he's doing work for Nathan would suggest that he's one of Nathan's lackeys. He bows to you, puts the paperwork down, and says, "My prince, Nathan asks that Marco's effects be given to you, and this is all he had in his cabinet."
Thank you. I didn't get your name.
"Oh, I'm sorry. My name is Michael."
Ah, thank you. Is there anything else that Nathan needs from me, or is that all he needed?
No, my prince. No, he needs nothing. We need nothing from you. Anything you need from us, we will do. Just let us know.
Zane, you need anything?
Can I have one of those too?
You want some paperwork?
No, servants. They look fun.
They're not.
No?
That's all we need, Michael. Thank you.
My prince. And he bows again and sort of walks backwards and doesn't take his eyes. He stays sort of half bowing and then closes the door behind him awkwardly.
I need to get me one of those. They look fun.
Do they? All
yeah.
Right. I mean, you're technically that to me.
Oh, yeah.
So, Hey, can you bounce off a phone signal so that it's like not traceable? Can you do that stuff?
Maybe.
How long do you think it'd take you?
Where's your phone?
And I take a stick, a pencil, and I slide my phone because I don't have my glove on.
Yep.
So
have your
where,
phone.
where do you want it to be?
I need to make an international phone call.
Okay. Where do you want it? Where do you want to be seen from coming from?
Maybe Japan.
All right. Give me a sec. What sort of phone is this?
It's a dirty old brick, man.
Yeah.
As you know, Echo cannot use a lot of technology without destroying it by touch. So anything she has is very old school.
You have to flip it open. You have to, you know.
All right. Zane, once you flip this phone open, I want you to give me, and this is up your alley, an intelligence technology. You're just going to reroute, do some magic. You're going to put some firewalls up, all that sort of good jargon that I barely know much about. You're going to make the phone's IP or destination seem as though it is Japan or somewhere thereabouts.
Lots of dice. Lots of dice. That's 4. Yep. Yep. Don't need those ones. Okay. Give me a sec. You're fucking kidding me. Wow. 3 successes.
Wow. At all those dice.
Yeah, I know, right? 2 of the successes were blood dice.
Thankfully for you, skill rolls for this sort of thing aren't too high. However, you only barely made it by 3, and 3 is what you would need. I would say knowing what you know, you sort of punch it in quickly, get things out of the way, zips that and the other, and like, well, it's not quite Japan, but it's close. It's not where you are.
Around the that area.
Broad area.
Yeah, really broad area. And I slide it back with my finger.
They type in this number, I slide it back, and I tell him this really long number.
Yep.
Hurry up, and slide it back. Hit speaker. No, don't hit speaker.
Speaker or no speaker?
Yeah.
Okay, hit speaker.
And I'm calling Peggy.
The phone rings a few times, and eventually, almost when you think it's going to be the answer machine, Peggy picks up and she goes, hello.
Hello, my dead friend. How is the sunshine?
Oh, shit. When I picked up the phone, there was a long-ass number on there, and I was thinking, this is one of those scam calls again. Fuck, the last time I bought edible underwear, I was not happy.
Yeah. Sam doesn't appreciate that being mailed to him. You need to stop.
Oh, rubbish. He loves it. He's never sent any back. Must have either used it or plans to.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I'm kind of like... do you ever read book 3 where they have like a prince, kind of a boss thing?
I mean, yeah, I scanned through your trash. I look for the sex scenes, but generally, yes, I remember
it's
the
right
stories.
After the sex scene.
Yes.
Yeah. That's me now. Not the sex, the boss part. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, usually in your books, someone has to die to get that. So you killed someone?
No. That's half fiction.
Wow. Look, Echo, that's bullshit. I know it and you know it. Mostly the bullshit part is that you didn't kill anyone. You paused way too long and hang on. And she takes a drink of something. You can hear her swallow.
The reception bit choppy. Why? Pausing.
Okay. Nonetheless, you didn't make my whiskey taste any worse, and that's fine. So, you're in charge, eh? Should have known. Now, I told you you'd get there one day. More,
Yeah.
I thought you'd be in charge of the whorehouse, but you're in charge of the whole vampire kingdom now, right?
Yeah, well, no, just a little city. So, but you need to stay away longer.
Really?
Yeah,
Well, I do enjoy the company of Sam.
yeah, and maybe not call Sam so much. You've got friends and nurses and everything.
Oh yeah, they're calling him too now. So our
Oh,
group,
God.
it's like our book club. We all think he is such a handsome man, and I mean, share around, I say. So that's why we're having drinks tonight, aren't we, girls? And you hear some chatting in the background.
Some old ladies, woo, yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. We've taken photos of Sam, and we found some on the internet.
Oh,
we
good.
kind of
Okay.
chopped them, but
All right, good talk. Just checking in on you. Be safe. You're gonna stay a little longer.
okay, yeah, we will be safe. I bought a big box of condoms today. We're blowing them up as balloons at the moment.
All right. Love you. Bye. Hang up
Okie dokie.
with my pencil.
And with that,
Right.
you've hung up on the poor old girl.
Yeah, I didn't want to hear any more about that. So Zane,
You killed you killed Prince. What?
she didn't say I killed anybody. She assumes I killed. She also assumes that Sam likes eating her edible underwear. You gonna listen to Peggy? Honestly?
Yeah.
What have you found out?
About what?
On your computer.
About Scourge. He last seen Clayton. One of those words.
Really? Good. Maybe just tilt the screen to me.
You sure?
I mean, I could do it for you if you want.
No, absolutely not.
He tilts the screen towards you, and you can see he's traced, like I say earlier, around in circle, but generally Lowe's side of the scourge around Carlton area.
So what you'll see on the screen is I'll have information of where the scourge was, correlation with where Kindred have been, and in the background matrix style lettering going down constantly.
Do I see a pattern to chasing Kindred, or is he just targeting like public human places at night?
Give me a... What would this be? Give me a wits academics, please, Echo, as you're trying to figure this out. Unless you can think of something you would like to use better.
No, I mean, that's fine. It's not going to be great.
maybe a wits streetwise, if you could go that way.
3?
3. It's erratic. If you're looking for a pattern, there ain't no pattern. It's erratic as. He's done circles in places, and then headed, sort of west and south, then moves around, then goes back north. It's definitely not a pattern that you can pick up on.
He's got to go somewhere at night, don't you think, Zane? Or in day, don't you think, Zane? Asleep?
Yep, but I got no idea where.
And I'm just going to sit with my heels up on the desk and watch his screen. That's what I'm going to do.
You're going to give me one more roll, Echo, before we do anything else. You're going to give me intelligence awareness as Marco's paperwork's in front of you, and I guess you're going to go flipping through it while we pull away.
2, 3, 4. Okay. 3 again.
3 again. So when we come back to you, I'll let you know what you got with your 3.
Oh,
Zane.
2's got 2 stars, though. So
Two have got so that's
yeah, so that's 5.
5. Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so that's better. 5. But we will come back to what you get from that. So you've been talking with Zane, now you're putting your feet up, you're going through Marco's papers. Zane, is there anything else you'd like to do before we move back to the other crew?
No, just keep working away while she's looking at the screen, maybe.
Sweet. So last round you had 1 blood bag, you can remove a hunger then. This round you can have another one to remove another hunger if you wish.
Awesome. Thank you.
Which would take you down to 2 hunger, I believe.
Yes, feeling much better now.
Right, back with Pip, Isaac, and Jax. Did you guys get back in the car and head elsewhere?
We definitely would have got back in the car at this point. So what did he handed me a videotape or
He
a
handed you
DVD
a
or
USB?
USB? Okay.
And he downloaded everything from the camera. So what was on the news footage that Zane was able to pick up and the stuff that Zane picked up from the internet that he could find, you would have seen quite a bit of it, but Francis has basically got it clean from the
Okay.
drive onto USB for you. So if you needed to check it in depth, you could.
Okay. I think Jax at this point would say, basically ask these guys So we got 2 options here. We can head back and go over this and see if Zane can pull anything more information off it. Or we can go to the last scene location, have a look around there. He's attacking humans and kindred. Chances of finding anything that you can use, Isaac, I think are pretty slim at this point. Not unless we can catch up with him and potentially get into an altercation with him and maybe collect some of his blood.
Oh,
Maybe.
ye of your little faith, Mr. Spencer.
Exactly. You sent someone else in after me. You didn't have any faith in me, and
I had perfect
I'm a
faith
little
you'd do exactly what you were asked to do, Pip, and you did. You're perfectly fine.
I didn't need any backup.
What
You
friends
did
are
it
for.
anyway.
It's what friends are for, Pip. I'll introduce you to Francis one day. You got some things he can teach you.
Pip just starts to sulk and grabs a book.
So then, Isaac, anything else that we can use to track him, perhaps?
Oh, you forgot that I was able to track the prince. Or sorry, Leslie Taylor.
Yes, using ash. We don't have any ash for the
No.
scourge.
I did not use the ash. I knew who he was. I know him by face.
Do you have
And
enough?
it's at this point Isaac is starting to go
Okay.
into the back seat of Jackson's car. I'm assuming from memory, Evil, your car is very well tinted. It's darkened.
Yes, it is indeed.
Okay, perfect. So Isaac will literally just start heading to Jackson's car and sort of open up the back seat and sort of climbs his way in.
And Jax will take Isaac's lead and get into the driver's seat.
Jackson, with that,
Beck and Pip over and say, right, let's go.
and also between you guys, it's not rocket science. With that USB in hand, if your vehicle's new enough and you have a USB port and a screen, you would be able to bring up some of the stills and
Yeah.
have the face right in front of Isaac if you need to.
Jackson, definitely. This car would, definitely. And Pip, you got an extra black die on your next roll. Courtesy of Mr. Arrow. So Jackson would provide a bit more visual evidence for Isaac to run from.
Okay. when you insert the USB drive into your vehicle and you're scrolling through, you can. It's much like any CD or anything. There, we've got some interference on the audio there. Oh, there it is. Much like any video footage, you can scroll through with your fast forward, back, and play button.
Yep.
It's almost as if you were tapping into the abilities of Zane moving through this camera stuff. You pick up on the screen, you notice there's other cameras and footage. Francis did mention to you when he handed you the stick and said, "Here's the footage." He did say there were some internal cameras that weren't linked. And so he's taken footage from all of them, and you were able to scroll to a camera which was actually looking through the office window and out, which Zane wasn't able to get a handle on because it wasn't linked to the internet.
Ah.
And you get a direct shot of his face front on, which you would have had from the other camera, but it was a little grainy. This one, as he's moving, he's torn the arm off this female. He bites into her neck, grabs her arm, and just pulls, and you see the sinew and the bone snap and the meat pull away. As he looks back into the office, he tucks a bit of the meat from his mouth into his tattered shirt pocket, and then you can freeze frame it on his face there if you like, or you back it up and whatever you want to do. But
Yeah,
you get a really clear shot of this face.
I'd freeze it. It's probably the best shot that we can get to give
And
Isaac
obviously
any sort of every possible chance to succeed in what he's.
So,
Sweet.
yeah, Isaac will, if you can see that clearly, he sort of intently studies the face. And as he's doing that, he's sort of reaching into his little satchel as well and pulls out another piece of white satin ribbon and just a small goblet where he just cuts his wrist again and just bleeds enough into the goblet, and will then sort of put the face to memory again, and will drop the white satin into the blood. And while the car is moving, he is going to perform Illuminate the Trail of Prey.
Nice. So, Jackson, you're heading roughly towards the last area that
Yeah.
I think Zane sent you the information to. For Carlton was this last place he was seeing. Isaac, you've got this ritual running. It takes moments while in the car. Car driving from Jax is fairly steady. It's a nice vehicle. It runs smooth. Pip, you're getting a nice ride. Just watching this going on. Pip, are you front seat or back seat?
I'll be in the front. I think if Isaac's taken up the back to do his bleeding all over the place.
Sweet. So unless you turn around, you're not seeing a lot of what's going on. Isaac, you need to make an intelligence and survival, I believe. Yes, it is. Intelligence and survival, thanks. The face you can see is still a rough camera shot. It's a still frame and it's fuzzy, but it's clear enough, and you can mark him by his face. So the test marker is reasonably high.
Perfect. I'm also burning a willpower,
Do that.
so I can roll 3 dice.
Nice, Mark.
And that gives me a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Awesome. Very, very good. So, with that, as you come to the final part of the ritual, you take a deep breath, close your eyes, and when you open them again, ahead of the vehicle, you see like a trail of blood, a mist of blood enters your vision. It's like a haze almost. As you look around, you see everything normally as you would see it, but this trail of like a red mist, faint red mist leading you. You can now give Jackson directions to where the scourge either may be or is heading.
So where the vehicle is currently going to the last known location, is that marrying up with the trail, or does the trail eventually? So the moment the trails, if at any point the trail splits or deviates from where Jackson is originally driving to, that's when Isaac will pipe up.
Okay, cool. So at this point, heading to Carlton, you can see it's all that way, exactly right. Everything that basically Zane had given you, you can bypass because you now have this trail from Isaac to follow. And once you get to Carlton, the trail then heads, and I better get my map out. The trail then heads from Carlton west back towards North Melbourne, and then heads. You can see this trail once you get into North Melbourne. There's like a it's a train station. I think it's a train station there, and where the train station is, the trail seems to do some, and you get sort of a really good view of how this creature, this person, this kindred has gone about his latter part of the evening. It seems that he's taken to a lower area of the train station. He's gone to a back room and he's rested there. You can see, without even getting out of the car, you can see where the trail leads. And then that's sort of like the cooler part of the trail. Maybe tonight, more than likely tonight, where the trail heats up a bit, where the red mist is much brighter. Once he's awoken from his rest in this train station, um, then he's headed more west into Kensington. If you guys want to keep heading that way,
Definitely keep following it at this point.
Yeah, so Isaac is, as all this is transpiring, Isaac is sort of relaying this information to both Pip and to Jackson, and kind of explaining to him, seems to go a little bit coldy here, so it means that he was here a lot later, whereas, and as we drive a little bit further in, and so this one here starts to get a little bit brighter and brighter, so we're on the right track. It's like we're getting closer to finding, or at least getting close to potentially where he's either currently resting or maybe going towards. We may, if he's on the hunt, we might be able to find him.
At this point, Jackson would turn to Pip and say, Pip, do you mind letting Zane know where we're headed? Keep him up to date so that he could even possibly track us, so he can then inform Prince Echo of our whereabouts, and that information can be passed on to whoever it needs to catch this guy. Because we're not going to take him on our own. Not enough of us.
Okay. I'll text him. I feel like talking to him might get us nowhere.
Yeah, texting's probably a good idea.
So I'll start writing out a text. It'll be a very long text. There'll be a bit in there about Isaac being good at party tricks and him bleeding everywhere, and I'm kind of hungry, but I don't think I should eat Mr. Graves, and we're going this way. And I'll have emojis because that's who Pip is.
so Zane, sitting in Echo's office, you get this text, this back and forth gibberish, because it's not a too to the point. We'll deal with it now, otherwise I'll forget what it even says. So, Zane, you get this text sitting in the office. What do you do with it?
I relay exactly what was sent to me to Echo. That's what Pip said.
So they're basically headed into Kensington, where the trail is hot. That's the last sort of idea that Pip's going to give you.
So I'll bring up whatever security cameras, street cameras, whatever cameras I can get access to around that area.
Righto. So we're going to be a bit of back and forth between the two parties here. So I'm going to put my 3-minute timer up. So, Zane, you log into cameras of that area. You start scanning the space for the scourge. you're going to be giving me. It's going to be investigation because you're going to be scanning cameras. So give me.
All right, hang on then.
We know your technology is good, so you give me intelligence investigation, and you can chuck an extra dice in since we know your technology is good anyway.
Okay.
That sounded like a truckload of dice too.
Yes. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Now, on the red die, I got a crit, and a black die, I got a crit. So does that add together?
That's a good question. Magic, do you
Pretty
know
sure it
that?
does.
Sorry, what was that?
So he's got a crit on red and a crit on black. That equals a crit, right?
That's a messy critical.
Yeah.
Messy crit. Yep.
Cool.
So that's a good thing. Good and bad, I suppose.
Three, and a messy crit.
3 with the messy. All right. So what happens here, Zane? You've been powering back the blood, feeding yourself, getting those hunger pains down as this night's moved on. And then you get excited. You get this message from Pip, and you're in front of Echo, the prince, and you can show her the skill you have. And Echo, you see him just tap, 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 tap on the computer. He's bringing things up. He's bringing a camera up. He's bringing a map up. He's got a second screen out. He's got his phone linked to it, and he's doing some crazy. He's moving as quick as he can, even with his sort of newly formed, fresh, unwrinkled fingers on the opposite hand that he's grown back over the few weeks. And he is working like you've never seen him work before. But and I'll give you. You find him, the Scourge. You see him, Kensington. He's at of all places, it's an open mall area, but it's got a park. Luckily, it's sort of verging on sort of 11, maybe coming up midnight now with a few hours that have gone by. Doesn't seem to be anyone there in the park until you pull up the next camera, and suddenly you see him moving, the Scourge, at breakneck speed. And what is he moving towards? As a person, 18, 19-year-old, male possibly. Hard to tell at the distance, but it's definitely the Scourge with his hunched looks, hunched movement, rolling towards him. But now for the critical, and this is this is a critical pass, so it's not a bad thing. With the critical, this is a tough one. Any suggestions? How will we deal with this? You need more. I feel like you're excited about this. This is his wheelhouse. He's excited. I feel like you want to do more. And as you're sort of dragging through, you kind of forget maybe what you're up to. You know what you're doing with your computer, but you forget that other people do look into now and then hackers online, and suddenly your alarm system comes up, your shield, and it just comes up with a big red border on your screen saying, detected. ASIS systems have detected you, and that's the writing, big bold writing, and you are being tracked.
And I throw the computer into a wall.
That's a really good call. So you pick up the computer and you unhitch it, turn off the Wi-Fi, smash it into the wall. Just give me, I know you're not very strong, but give me a strength brawl, please, or strength melee, your choice. Strength brawl, strength melee. You're not going to need a lot. You're a supernatural being, so I'll say 2 successes will be fine.
Strength and
You always have willpower to blow. Queen, Prince?
If it doesn't, I want to go over and just touch enter.
Well,
because that would.
I've only got two in my strength, so that's all red dice. But I got success on both, so I'm happy.
Oh, nice.
That's not bad.
So Echo, you watch as Zane is like, yes, there he is. He's about to take, he's heading towards that, and then he picks his computer up and just goes, bam, I've been tracked. Zane, I'll leave it to you to say your piece.
So with that, I now get my phone out and text the last location that I caught him to them.
Right, so Pip, your return reply text is basically, is at a mall in Kensington. They texted you the address of the mall, and he's about to attack. That's what it basically, give or take, Zane, something like that?
Yeah.
Sweet, Pip. You received that text almost within like a mere minute or two of sending the information to Zane.
He's far less talkative in text, but the gist of it is he's at the shops, attacking. I think he's attacking someone. Probably not shoe shopping. I was hoping he'd be. Anyway, this is, and I'll like show them my phone.
Jax will head in that direction to the Kensington Mall.
Okay, knowing where you are, you're a few minutes away. Sorry, Isaac, carry on.
If we're doing this, gentlemen, we should call in backup.
And with that, definitely agreed. Jackson will send a group message to pretty much his entire network of employees.
Okay.
The ones at Elysium will remain where they are, but the rest of them he'll call them in to converge on Kensington Mall ASAP.
How roughly, with the information we've been given, would that give Jackson an indication on ETA?
Yeah, so you'll be where you are roughly about 2 minutes from the spot, driving 2 minutes from the spot you need to be. So it's crucial 2 minutes. That's driving at law. We can you can punch it if you want. We can do some dice testing here.
Yeah, ETA on my guys getting there, more to the point.
Oh,
I
ETA
think,
and your guys. Ooh,
as well.
Roll of dice.
Well, so we've been told that he's attacking someone in the shops.
Yeah, about to attack. That's basically it. Yeah.
Is it inside the mall?
No,
Or
outside
out in the park
area
Okay.
is where Zane
All right.
saw it.
So Isaac is going to suggest something to the team. Right. If we don't do this now, we can just provide a distraction until the backup gets here. But they need to get here quick. What I suggest is that I will use myself as bait. If the guy comes and bite me, he's going to have one hell of a sting.
Have we got somewhere else that maybe we could take him to that would be more advantageous for us to take him on? Maybe not the mall.
He's in the park at the mall. I mean, it's still fairly open.
I mean, we could get him to follow us, maybe.
Are you sure you're okay with being bait, Isaac? He's strong, very strong.
Yes, he may be strong. You've got weapons that you can fire.
Have.
And if he comes for me, like I said, he'll have a nasty taste in his mouth if he tries to bite me. The guy's a Diabolist.
As long as you're sure.
Go.
Because I'm...
Oh, it's a risk. I realize the risk.
I mean, I will do everything I can to ensure nothing bad
The price
further
is
happens.
that another masquerade breach is about to happen, and God knows where he will go next.
Well, we will potentially lose him if we don't do something now. I'll also send that same message back to Zane directly and telling him in all caps, send everybody that we have available to this location.
All right,
Pip,
Zane,
I know
get that
you
message.
feel that you're not strong in combat, so maybe staying hidden is pertinent, but you can still be useful. In
And how
case
you guys-
things go south, you can just go.
Just
Oh
while you're
yeah,
talking,
definitely.
Jackson-
And I'll grab my shoe off. With
Sorry,
my-
guys. Just while you're talking, I'll get Jackson to do a drive. So give me a stamina drive, and sorry, carry on, Pip.
I'm gonna drive, no worries.
I sort of just start to grab my shoes off.
I'm also
Okay.
gonna rouse the blood as well for this.
Yep.
Success.
And at this point, Isaac
3 successes.
is going to prepare his blood for Scorpion's touch. So he's going to do enough to coat his blade, but it's also going to be enough for if the Scourge decides he wants to nom into Isaac, he's going to have a nice little surprise coming his way.
Okay,
So I'm going to rouse.
twice.
I'm actually rousing 3 times, and
3
I
times. Okay.
passed 2, failed 1.
All right, so you get 1 more hungry, which puts you at
I think that puts me back at 3.
3. So you rouse the blood, making sure that you're getting this Scorpion's touch ability through your system, making sure that if he takes a bite of you, he's going to get a nasty sting back, as well as you put that through your weapon too, don't you? I believe.
Yes, I can. So that's why I've roused it twice. So so I want 2 sets of the blood in my system.
Yep.
And 1 is going to be applied to my blade.
Excellent. So you do this really as Jackson pulls the vehicle up with a good drive test there, Jackson. You guys have made it in that couple of minutes. Pip, you're taking your shoes off, ready to be sneakier. I guess that's what we're getting.
You might try and entice him with his shoe.
And I will say, as you guys drive in, Jackson, were you sort of speed limiting, or were you going over limit, trying to get there as quick as you can?
I was sort of pushing it where I knew I could to get there a little quicker.
You, punch it on sort of the straights out of the way, knowing there's minimal police coverage in these areas. You head into the mall area. There's not a lot of cars here at this time of the night, midnight. The mall's not an all-night mall, and the park area, which is where you're coming up onto now, and you can see at this point in time, I'll give you a description of what you see right before you sort of pull up and stop, is a human, young 18, 19-year-old boy, almost goth or something to that effect. Not quite goth, maybe emo more. Black jacket, someone who wants to hang out in the dark and be in the dark all the time. They think they're a vampire because that's how they dress, but they're so long fringed and what have you. And you can see the Scourge waves his hand one way in his half sort of hunched motion, and you can see this young person does the same thing as you sort of pull your vehicle up, and then the Scourge goes like this. You can't see it on this camera. All right, like that. The Scourge goes like that with his fingers, and you see this young person pull a gun from his pocket, put it up to his head, and the Scourge goes bang. And you've pulled the car up to a stop, and this young person just pow blows his own brains out and just drops to the floor. As you pull up, the Scourge turns, sees the car, grins in the light, and then bounds sort of behind the building as you've stopped the vehicle. What are you guys doing now?
Seeing that he's taken off, Jax is going to give chase, throwing up rapid reflexes in the process.
Right. He's nearby. You've just seen him dart behind a building, 100 meters at best. So you activating your speed?
Yep.
Right. Isaac, you're doing what in this time?
Isaac, obviously with the illumination still going, he knows exactly where he's going.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he's kind of he's made sure his blade's ready to go, and as he's walking through, like he's purposely just walking while Jackson is just going thunk. He's methodically slowly walking, and he's going, I've heard great things about you, Alexander, but the new Prince of Melbourne has issued your demise. Come out. You're surrounded. You won't live.
So with that, Jax has sort of moved into position. You're following the trail of prey with purpose and with that speech at the same time. Pip, lagging him behind there, but what's your plans, Pip?
Are we getting out of the car? Is this on foot?
And
I
they've
guess
already
we're
gone.
going-
Jax is
Jack's
bolted,
gone.
and Isaac casually gets up and walks with purpose, saying what he's saying as he goes. You can see Isaac knows exactly where he's going. Jax is sort of just following where he saw the creature go.
Mm, Pip was like sort of sighs deeply and puts his shoes back on and like slowly goes after them.
Okay, so at this point, Jax, you round the corner where he's gone, visually out of sight. He's quick. I'm going to get you to roll. So you said you had an active ability, didn't you?
It's just rapid reflexes.
Rapid reflexes. So add your whatever gives you rapid
Celerity.
reflexes. I can't remember. Celerity, that's it. So add your celerity to this. So give me a dexterity and athletics, or if you think of something better, that's fine, against my dexterity athletics. But I'm going to be using my abilities too.
No problem.
Oh, sorry, Alexander's going to be using his abilities.
I'm
Don't
going
forget
to
those
use a
hungry dice.
willpower. Reroll 3, 1, 2, 7.
I too have 7. Mine is with criticals.
I had 1 crit as well.
Crit.
Wasn't on a blood die though. It's just sort of standard.
So pace-wise, you were moving at the same pace as him, or so you thought. As you rounded the corner, boom, he bounds up over the side of a building onto the roof. Isaac, you've seen Jax, same speed as this guy, move right around the corner, but you just follow that trail of prey, seeing that beautiful red mist of droplets of blood that you can sort of spot as your giveaway as you round the same corner. Seeing the trail go up, not very high. It's just a single story building he's gone up into. Looks like the toilet block of this park. Pip, you're activating abilities at all?
So I'd just like slowly follow them, and I probably would activate unseen passage because I was told to stay out of sight. So
Sweet
we'll
as.
rouse check.
So give me a rouse check for that. Yep.
Success.
Excellent. That's all you need. No more hunger for you right now as you use the shadows to your advantage, moving behind your crew, watching them in front here. So Jax and Isaac, Jax, you first. You're moving quickly. What's your plan?
I'll try and keep pace with him and get to where he is.
All right. So he's bounded up. So you're going to try and leap up as well. Okay. Same thing again. Give me that dexterity athletics using your celerity.
I will rouse the blood for this to try and get a little bit of a boost.
Okay, so give
Success.
me another red die. Yep.
Oh yes. That'd be 9 successes. Two crits on that one.
Nice. Well done. So you bound up the wall. You can describe that for me. How you get up the wall onto the roof, following him.
Just basic parkour. Just find somewhere at the base of the building where I can get a foothold, and then just be single foot and leap, sort of land, and continue running if he's still running. Otherwise, if he stops, I'll stop as well.
Sweet. Isaac, you see Jackson at full tilt, bound, hit his feet off the bottom of the building, wall run up the wall and bounce onto the top of the roof, following that trail of blood. Your next move, Isaac.
Isaac is just continually walking and it's just continually taunting, trying to get him to come use him as the bait. And he is just going to reopen his wound and spill some blood to try and entice him even more.
Okay. Give me, for your taunting, I feel like a manipulation or a charisma, your choice here, something in that social field. I feel manipulation, persuasion, if you agree.
Yeah, let's go to charisma.
Charisma, persuasion. And I would say if you were add an extra dice to your pool because you're twisting that blood, you're really trying to get him to smell what's going on there.
2 successes.
2 successes. I'm going to roll against that to see if he is coerced enough by what you're saying and the smell of your blood. Okay, I rolled a lot of nothing here, eh? I had a lot more dice than you were too, I imagine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 misses and 1 success, so that's not enough. So, yeah, I thought he'd get away with that easy. So, Jackson, you spot this as he's bounded across to the next building's roof. You can see him now as you've hit the top. He's probably got moving at the same pace as you. He's got a slight lead, 10 meters. He about faces as you hear Isaac taunting him, saying, just basically, come on down here. But Isaac, that smell of blood, he locks onto you. He bounds back off the building and is just, he stops, bounds off the building, stops with, like I say, 10 meters away roughly from Jax, maybe 12 to you as you're walking, maybe a little more, closer to 15. And he calls out, takes a deep breath and goes, well, it always did smell like death around here, and I feel like 3 more on the menu. And we're going to leave the 3 of you right there.
Nice.
Echo, you rolled for me earlier looking through Marco's paperwork. A couple of the top bits of paper, just some bits and pieces about Prince Taylor wanting him to take out certain people who had broken the masquerade, punishments for those who had done some minor incursions, discrepancies and disagreements that they'd had with anarchs over time, but nothing's written in blatant, the anarchs this or the thin bloods that. It's all in a verse code, which you would be familiar with. Everyone in the Camarilla would be. You don't write anything in open. Everything's in a verse type of code. If someone else was to read it, it would just seem like normal ledgers, jobs for people, whatever. And as you're going through the sort of 15, 20, 30 odd sheets, it's boring and arduous crap. Stuff that maybe if you were looking through it for some other reason would interest you. But as you're doing this, an envelope drops free between 2 bits of paper. The envelope has small wax seal with flowers in the seal on it. It doesn't look to have been opened, and turning to the front of it, it just reads, "To my mother." Do you do anything with said envelope?
Ooh, I'm going to open it, but keep the seal intact. You just...
Yeah, yep, you're not going to break the seal as such. You're just going to slide under the seal. And easy enough done. As you open it, there's a normal piece of letter paper lined and ruled. And in a rather old-looking handwriting, would be almost like, if you were to take it from a text from a computer, it'd be something like almost like ancient Gothic text or Old English text. Not quite as blocky, but that type of writing has been used. It's not calligraphy for any reason. It's someone's handwriting, but they've done extra flourishes and flicks. Someone who may have lived through an older period of time. And it says simply, "I have him." Full stop. Next line. "Mother, we will finally be able to put this all to rest." Full stop. That is all that is written on this note in this envelope. As we end tonight's session, we're about to have a battle next session, I see.
Interesting. Well, There we
So,
have
guys,
it.
yeah, nice game too, everyone. Very, very good. Sorry, Zane and Echo, a little less on the action for you guys tonight.
All good. Just happy to be here.
It does happen.
So we'll go around. We'll do our around the table. Do our around the table section. I will say we should start with Zane and Echo. So Zane, you can go first tonight, eh? Favorite moment, something that stood out for you, something funny, anything you wish.
I'd have to go the chase and the how they approached the scourge. That was awesome. I can't wait till next week.
Very cool. Yeah, I didn't expect him to want to chase him down without all the backup ready, but that's a good way to go. Echo.
I liked seeing all the Tremere powers in action. That was pretty cool. And I like Zane's role playing of doing his computer doodads and throwing it at the wall. That was great.
Yeah, good call on that. It's hard. You never want, if you fail on the blood dice, you want it to be bad. But when you succeed, but it's an over success, it's hard to judge what's bad and what's good because it's kind of somewhat bad in a way as well. Somewhat.
That was good.
But it was well done.
Zane's kind of brooding at the moment because after he's done that, he's sat down and I should have just taken the battery out. Really?
But it was good. I think that's it. You've roused your blood and you've just on impulse, and I felt that was well done. Nice, Echo. Thanks for that. And we will go with Jackson.
Yes, definitely Zane's little tantrum with his laptop. I was really hoping he'd fail and he'd sort of just throw it and would bounce off the wall and not do anything because that would have been funnier. But no, it was that was pretty cool. Pip, as always, just being Pip. you can't just. I mean, everything Pip does is just weird and wonderful and think just that's how it is. And yeah, Isaac's ritual and the following of the blood trail. And the bait idea, I didn't actually expect that from Isaac, so
it's good.
That was pretty cool.
Nice one. Yes, good idea. Pip.
I liked Echo talking to Peggy, and how that all came about with the phone and everything. It's like, no, you do it. And like typing in this long number and not quite getting it, and then the talk about the edible underwear, and Sam doesn't want you doing that. I'm just like, oh god.
I think
that was good.
You're right. They are. I feel like they're always the best ad lib conversations because I just say the first thing that comes to mind, and every other character I have to think hard about. But Peggy, it's just talk dirty. It's fine.
Yeah. And I think
improv is the best
Echo
IP.
sort of like
she feeds
balances
off it,
that back. Yeah, I think it's a good combination. So I always enjoy that.
Good call. Isaac.
I've got a couple. Obviously, the prince knowing that they have to do the boring work behind the desk, taking herself to the office and actually beginning workings as the prince. So I kind of like that, and obviously looking into the Marco situation. Our storyteller's description of Weapon X is always enjoyable.
Weapon Alex.
Yep, and Pip. I enjoyed what Pip did as like kind of having his moment more than reliant on the Auspecs, like going in under his cloak of shadows at that laundromat and trying to get whatever information he was able to get. And also his little, I guess, moral dilemma of whether he should pick up his book or not that he left behind. I thought that was wonderful. And lastly, Zane, can I have one of those?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. So, thanks, Isaac. Appreciated that. I had the same as you with Zane. I had Isaac asking for a slave. And I also like the description of what was on your desktop, but behind it, you could see the matrix numbers flowing down. I thought that's pretty cool. Pip, when you mentioned about 7 pairs of shoes, we'll just steal him 7 pairs of shoes. That'll get him. Fuck, I just about pissed my pants laughing there. I don't know why. It just tickled my fancy. Yeah. So little fact that criminal is a real name or similar to a real name based on a real character, and got sent to jail for 7 years for stealing 6 pairs of shoes. Was his original crime before he started becoming a cannibal. So there you go, bit of history for
Nice.
Australia. Echo, when you were talking to Zane right after he said he wants a servant, and you're like, well, you're technically a servant to me. And I thought, hey, just put him in his place. Isaac to Jax, when Jack says, well, unless you got something else we can do to find this guy, and Isaac says, ye of little faith. Just pulling up those old sayings, sort of bringing that, for me, it brought the age of the character forth again, because that's the sort of saying you hear, more from the older group. And then Jax, just, you guys sort of pulling up on the vehicle, and you pass your drive test. Isaac says, hey, I've got this idea of using me as bait. And then you get out of the car and Jax just books it before the bait's in action. And I'm like, oh, okay, he's booking it first.
He's reactionary, right, man. This is what Jax is.
So those are, it was a lot of things that were really cool tonight, but those things sort of definitely stood out for me. But yes, it looks like we're going to be in a bit of a scuffle here next Sunday. So,
in all fairness, Jax has now put himself in a position of pretty good advantage now that the scourge has gone down to the ground and not on the top of the building anymore.
Yeah, Isaac's plan seems to have worked for now.
For now, we'll see what happens.
Just so you guys know too, that ability that the scourge use, Magic probably knows what it is. It's an ability called Terminal Decree, where he can basically command someone to do something right in front of himself, and it's one of the only ones that allows you to hurt. So he actually got that guy to pull out his own gun, shoot himself in the head, and he was going to chew on him before you guys came in. But that is an ability that costs your humanity, just so you're aware.
Damn. All good. So that is it from us tonight, guys. Episode 3 done and dusted. As far as the rest of the week is concerned, or next week, not so much the rest of this week, but usual stuff next week. Map making, roasting chickens of Wildmount Darkstar on Wednesday. Be back here for that, and then back here following Sunday for some more VTM. We should raid somebody. We normally raid Josie. Let's see if we can find someone else who's on tonight.
And I'm going to bow out, team. I haven't really started getting
dude.
Morning, so
no worries. Catch you when we catch you, man.
Cheers, guys. See you.
We're going to raid. It's the same group, but we're going to raid Orby tonight and not Josie. Mr. Orb came into the chat and was hanging out with us tonight, dropped some biddies. So we're going to set that raid up. Wettest Orb. And we're going to say goodnight, and we will see you tomorrow night for some more maps, carrying on with Curse of Strahd stuff. We're getting towards the end. I think we've got one more. I think we've got the Wizards of Wine to do, and then once that's done, we're going to make a start on Castle Ravenloft. So that's going to be a massive build. Should be a bit of fun. You'll be able to see me squirm and stress because I'm not looking forward to the castle. It is massive and there's lots of stuff to do in it, but we'll give it a go. But anywho, we're going to see you guys at Raisin Loft. Yeah, full of raisins. It's where they make the wine, where they dry out the grapes, turn them into raisins. You know how it is. But anyway, we're going to say goodnight, guys, and we'll see you tomorrow night.